Happy Monday, everybody. June 13th. Tour dates coming up. A lot of tour dates. Going to read them off real quick before we get into it. Here it is. June 16th. I will be with Bill Burr at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Wilkes, Pennsylvania. June 17th, Bethel Woods Center for the Arts in Bethel, New York. The 18th, the PNC Bank Arts Center in New Jersey. And then June 23rd, Moda Center in Portland. June 24th, Auburn, Washington. June 25th, Rogers Arena, Vancouver. June 26th, 2 shows at Prince Island Park, Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. And then July 9th, I'm headlining in Austin, Texas, 2 shows only. And July 15th, 16th, I'll be in Fort Collins, Colorado at the Comedy Fort. Tickets available at deandelray.com for most of the shows. I'm not sure on the Burr ones. They might be sold out. But those are the tour dates. Please come see me, especially at the headlining shows. I really need some people out there, and I would greatly appreciate it. Glad you're here for the show. Lots of great stuff today. Fantastic guest today. Oh, my God. Punk rock legend John Doe is here from X. John Doe has a brand new record out called Fables in a Foreign Land. It's a dark, folky record. Fantastic. And you can get that right now. It came out May 20th. And he'll be doing a 3-piece stripped-down tour around America. And also during the summer here, X will be out with the Psychedelic Furs touring all over the U.S. also. So lots of chances to see John Doe. And please go see him. Do not be one of those people, I'll catch you next time. Get out there and see these legends. X is just mind-boggling. They are Los Angeles to me. I was talking to John about it. I was saying, look, you got the 60s with the Doors, and then you've got the 80, like early 79, 80, 81. You get the punk rock going, that Mach 2 with X and all of those great bands down there tearing up the whiskey. X has some of the greatest records. The first X record and the second one, Wild Gift, and Under a Big Black Sun, all just masterpieces of music and just crazy original, their sound. Crazy original. God damn. What a great guest today. I will give you a heads up. Dealing with technology here. I was interviewing him, and the first 10 minutes was going, and then Zoom crashed. So welcome to my world. It's only happened one time. And I'm even surprised that it's only happened once over the last, 3 years of having to use Zoom because of COVID. Thank God it's only happened once. But the interview is great. It just I'm just giving you a heads up why it comes in a weird section. But get down on his new record, Fables in a Foreign Land. Just really, really cool music. And he's got some great videos out, too. Check out Down South. I love this tune. Really good. He's living out there in Austin now. We talk about moving around in the States, living in different places. We talk about recording. We talk about Ray Manzarek from The Doors, working with X. We talk about some early David Letterman appearance with X, which is fantastic. And all kinds of great stuff. Thank you, John Doe, for doing the show. It's always a weird thing, like, you're doing an interview and then the technology goes down and then you gotta, you're sitting there trying to get the vibe going, like, but, well, I felt it was a great conversation. It was cool. It was, to talk to John Doe. Come on. What else is happening? Let me see. I want to say thank you to all the Patreoners, patreon.com/DeanDelRay. I will be doing a live Zoom tonight on Patreon. If you are a Patreon member, join me tonight around 5 o'clock, and we will shoot the shit. Patreon.com/DeanDelRay. If you want to get some merch, I have a little bit of merch left. It's almost sold out, and then I'm going to have to get some more. DeanDelRey.com, merch and tour dates, and all of your info that you need there. We got some shirts. I got some hats, too. I got a very limited run of hats. All of that stuff. Also, do not forget about the Youngblood Tour. Marcus King, myself, Ashland Kraft, and Neil Francis are going to be rolling around America doing comedy and rock and roll starting September 9th. And all the info for that will be on the website very soon, but you can see the tour dates on my Instagram, Dean Del Rey. And that's going to be wild. We're just going around. We're going to be playing rock and doing some comedy. I'll be doing some comedy. They'll be playing some rock and roll. And I'm looking forward to see how this goes. It's some wild venues. A couple nights at the Beacon, a couple nights at the Ryman, Wiltern, Masonic, San Francisco. A lot of iconic venues. The Tabernacle. And it's going to be just, it's going to be insane. I mean, I don't know what to expect. But I'm looking forward to trying to sling some jokes out there, tell some funnies, and watch Marcus and Neil and Ashland every night. And maybe we do a little jam at the end. I hope. That'd be fucking wild. Bust out some Prince or Earth, Wind & Fire or some AC/DC, whatever. Just some wild tune each night. So that'll be cool. Listen, I want to ask you guys, we've seen a lot of people making ridiculous money from crypto, but did you know it's easy for you to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that the YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy him. This is just like when you copied off somebody's paper in school. This is exactly what you're going to do. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply do what he does. So, let me tell you more about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which has over 17,000 subscribers. And since March 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put in $100 each time, it would now be worth over $53,000. Of the 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, is currently up over 410 times from when he said to buy it. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Can you imagine just being able to retire off cryptocurrency? Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this for yourself. So if you'd like to join the 1,300 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Dean. That's copymycrypto.com/Dean. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners get full access for just $1. You won't find this offer anywhere else, but act fast because the offer ends soon. That's copymycrypto.com/Dean. That's DEAN. Don't take this offer lightly. He's the real deal. Go visit the site now and just start copying his papers, just like in school. Start getting some money. What, $1? You're not going to lose, man. Do it. copymycrypto.com/Dean. All right. I hope to see you out on the road, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Just a great, great punk rock talk, and keep the candles lit, my friends. Here he is, Mr. John Doe. Let's talk about your new album, Fables in a Foreign Land. 3-piece, kind of a folky rockabilly trio record. Sounds great. I love the video, man. Never Coming Back. That one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, that was a woman in L.A., Brandeis Dainswich. She's a photographer, and she does a lot of videos, or some. and she just has a really unique style. And I recorded the live stuff with my friend here in Austin and sent her all this footage, and she just pulled it out and then overlaid it. It was like it came out of somebody's brain or something. Scary, good stuff.
It's so cool, man. It just has a great look, you know?
Yeah, we met a while ago, maybe, long time, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. And it ended up that she did the video backdrop for X's show at the Greek. When was that? Back in September, maybe?
Like while you guys were on, you had a full video montage going the whole night?
Yeah, the Greeks, I guess the Greek does that occasionally or pretty regularly. I'm not sure, but it came as, part of the package, and we had already talked about doing a video. So some people from Fat Possum came to see X, and I could say, well, that's what my video is going to look like. That all that shit you just saw and everybody thought was so good, that's what my video is going to look like. So that was nice.
That's very cool. That's very cool. When you were recording the record, did you just record it at your house, or did you put it to? Where'd you go to studio?
Yeah. Well, to make a short story long, Kevin Smith, the bass player, and I started playing together before COVID. And then in May of 2020 or April, I think, I called him up and said, "So you're not touring, right?" And he goes, "Of course not. He usually tours with Willie Nelson." So I went over to his backyard and we played on his patio because it was safe. We were, 20 feet apart because nobody knew what the hell was what. We just did old songs and whatever and just played. I had a few new songs. And then a couple of months later, we called up Conrad Chacroon, who I played with, and he normally played with Patty Griffin at the time. And he's lived in Austin a long time, played with NRBQ and a band called the Damnations or Damnation. Anyway, so we all just started playing. And because Kevin's playing upright, Conrad would muffle his drums and we just sing and play into the air. There weren't any amps, it wasn't a PA. So we just did this thing. And that's kind of how we came up with the sound. I give them a lot of credit and just the time that we had. We'd play like once a week because nobody else had anything to do.
Yeah, old school style, like back when there was bluegrass guys, and the one guy would just step forward if it was his solo, into the one mic.
Yeah, they still do. I think, at least when I've seen Del McCoury, that's what they do. But anyway, so when it came, we worked on that for probably a year and a half, and recorded at a place called Public Hi-Fi here in Austin. Great studio. It's owned and run by Jim Eno, the drummer for Spoon.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And we set up the same way. We set up in a corner of the studio and didn't use headphones and didn't have any monitors and just played and sang and had to listen to each other out in the air. So it's all live. If you sang a bad note or played a bad bass note or guitar note, you either had to do it again, or we did cut between takes because Conrad has great time. So we could, cut a little piece in. We would record on tape and then we'd put it into Pro Tools.
Oh, wow. So actually went to tape.
Oh, yeah. I mean, lots of people record to tape now. It gives a little more oomph, a little something different. But we just took what we had created and just transferred it into the studio. Dave Way, who helped produce and engineer it, he's a real pro. And he put mics all over the place. He was able to turn it into these files called Sony Atmos, which is it's like a surround sound thing that Sony has been using in movie theaters for a while, but now it's available other consumers, audio files and stuff like that. And Steve Berlin, also from Los Lobos, was producing. So we leaned on him, like, you just take care of a lot of stuff.
It's amazing just the amount of talent in Austin and Nashville these days. Nashville used to just be so country western, but now it's like kind of the music business is either in Austin or Nashville. It's not really in LA or New York anymore, Yeah,
I wouldn't know. I mean, I just know our little circle. I know that there's a lot of, I have several players to choose from for this trio. Kevin now is getting busy with Willie again, and I'm very fortunate. Yeah, Austin's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, my buddy Chris Layton lives out there, and he's just a crushing drummer.
Yeah. Huh.
He played Stevie Ray, but he plays with all those guys, Doyle and all that. It's just a madness of talent out there.
Yeah, it's really something. I mean, Brad Fordham is kind of the second in line, and he's out with Dave Albin the same time that Kevin's out with Willie Nelson, and so I got a third guy who's gonna do this tour in June. His name's Chris Krebs, and he used to play with Dale Watson. So there's plenty of talent. It's embarrassment of riches, I think they call it. So it was it was very rewarding. I mean, because we had an idea, we came up with a sound, and we're able to deliver it, in a way that you intend. And sometimes recording it, you can have an idea, but then the technology of it and just the how you feel, and you might get nervous, or you might get one thing or another, and it's like the recording process ends up being like something you have to break through, rather than something that elevates. And so I feel pretty fortunate that we were able to do this.
I think an interesting thing too is if you hear songs in your head away and you're writing them, depending on the players, the drummer, the bass player, other guitar player, keyboards, whatever, they can completely sound totally different once they get a hold of it and start playing. You're like, oh,
Yes.
Oh, wow. They just grow into something organically way different.
Yes, that's a joyful moment.
Yeah.
And I take my hat off to people that do it all, record all the instruments and things like that. But I'd much rather be working with people and seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, definitely. Like that thing where you come up with a riff in the rehearsal studio, and then somebody starts to grow on it. And the next thing you know, this thing just blossoms into a smasher song. And you're like, wow, that is super cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Ray was way into going out to see music way after the Doors, and then starting to work with you. Do you go out and see music at your age now, like seeing what people are doing?
Not as much as I'd like, because if you're out playing in nightclubs, sometimes when you get home, the last thing you want to do is to go back out to a fucking nightclub.
Yeah, I hear you, dude.
Yeah, I do. There's several new bands that I've seen that I really love. It's a band called Shannon and the Clams. Great band, really wonderful singer, Shannon Shaw, and I had someone who opened for me, Sunny War. She was from LA and recently moved to Nashville. She was recording a record now, and I think she's done one or two others. So not as much as I'd like, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gallon of incredible new music out there. It just blows my mind, and just the way to get it out there.
Yeah, and we were so. I personally was so taken and grateful that Ray did come out to see us.
Yeah.
Because not only did it validate what we were doing, it gave us a sense of place. I was a big Doors fan, still am. And he kept his eye on the prize. He just he didn't insert himself as some producers do. He just wanted a good performance and helped with some arrangements and made sure that the sounds were good, made sure that we felt good. And the song told a story. So those first 4 records are definitely our best. And he was there for all of them. So I still miss him, but he was a great producer.
I look at the Doors as the way as I look at X. It's like the Doors to me were like LA at that time, and they were the ultimate LA sound and band. And then when X comes around, they become the ultimate LA sound and vibe of that era,
Yeah, we definitely captured something, and NWA did the same thing for their era, and Love also in the era that the Doors were, Arthur Lee and Love. Those were some amazing records as well. I don't know. We had a lot of help. That was not to be self-promotional, but those 2 books that we put out about LA music.
Right.
The main focus was that it was a community. And if it wasn't for everybody kind of putting their influence in, if it wasn't for Fear, we might not have played some of the stuff that we did. If it wasn't for the Plugs or Alley Cats or all those bands, nobody could do it on their own, so we had to do it together, and it felt good. It was that same kind of collaboration thing about playing with different musicians and how they can bring songs to life. We all were misfits and played music, but everybody always thought, oh, it's too fast, it's too loud, it's too this, it's too that, It's like, well, that's what I like, fuck, what's the deal? But everybody kind of fit in their misfit. They're misfits and they fit together.
Yeah, man. What an era. Come on. It's
good.
It's beyond good. It's funny because I know Mikey, who's the son of the owner of the whiskey, and we were talking about how these different eras kind of also saved the whiskey at the time. And, so you've got like the whiskey going with the Doors and all of that. And then that kind of disappears. And then here comes, the punk scene, and it saves it until the quote unquote hair metal people comes. So that's pretty wild, man, and that's a family owned business still to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
I know. Right. They own the Rainbow.
It took a little convincing for the whiskey to let the punk rockers in.
Yeah.
There was a couple early shows and there was some shenanigans, and they weren't too keen on Darby Crash doing his Iggy Pop smearing peanut butter all over everything. So it took us a little while to get back in there, but it was definitely a home away from home for a little while.
Yeah. What an iconic room, just to think about who's been in there.
Yeah, it's weird the way they moved the stage all around, and I think the last time I was there, they'd taken out part of the balcony and changed a bunch of stuff. But yeah, it was a good place.
Yeah, I'm a comedian, and Pauly Shore, I did the Comedy Store nightly, and he told me his mom used to drive him to the Comedy Store, and they'd go by during the punk era at the corner there, and people just be throwing stuff at cars, and they're like, go, 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 or like big giant, mohawks and everything. It just get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Those kids, those crazy kids.
Do you still have that original P bass?
Yes.
Now, where did you get that, and why did you select the P bass?
Well, I had a jazz bass, which I still have as well. And I just thought I should have a P bass, and I bought it at Stein on Vine, which is right next to the Pro Drum Shop.
Oh yeah.
It's a 63. It had all the paint on it. It wasn't brand new, but it looked pretty new. But this was in 1980, maybe. Billy called me up I think it was Billy. Maybe somebody called him and said, hey, there's this pretty clean 63 P bass, Stein on Vine, $500. I went right down there, and that was real money back then for me.
Oh yeah.
For a indie punk rock musician, but I bought it. Still got it. I played it on the last 3 shows that we did in Southern California.
Wow. It's all original, the pickups and everything?
I replaced the pickup because the G string was I found another old pickup, same vintage.
Yeah, that's so great, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
And then what were you rocking for amps? Were you just SVT?
I had an SVT, yes. That's one of the reasons that I have to be careful and lift things in a proper way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Going down the stairs at the Hong Kong Cafe was no fun. It was like straight fucking down to the alley. Ay, ay, ay. Probably about a 25, 30 foot staircase. It was just straight fucking down. That's terrible.
And that thing's like a refrigerator.
Yeah, well, the amp, the cabinet is bad enough, but the amp also was so fucking heavy, and the cabinet was just a little bit too high, so you had to arch your back to lift it up on there. Ay, ay, ay.
I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco. You have any good memories of the Mabue Gardens? Because I did a lot of gigs in there.
I remember the first time we played there, and Dirk Dirksen wanted to pay us less than what we had agreed to. And I sat in his office and I just said, that's not going to work because there was a lot of people here. He goes, oh, well, there's this and that, he's trying to bullshit me. And I just didn't leave. And he eventually paid us more, which was probably all of $500 or something like that, if that. I think the best memory I have was we hadn't really established ourselves in San Francisco. We played Mabuhay a couple times. And then we played with the Avengers at some kind of a hall, 330 Grove. And we went there and just played our asses off. And there was a lot of people there. And we felt after that show, which was, I don't know, probably 78, we felt like, okay, we got this. We did what we can do and people responded. So we're in. And then where else did we play? We played that other place on Broadway a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Rock on Broadway or the Stone.
No, not the Stone. It was on the same side as Mabuhay, place that looked like it was falling apart. We also played the Def Club, which was awesome. We shared a bill with Flipper there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Flipper made some great records, but live, they were sometimes unlistenable. And I think they would embrace that. I think that might have been like on their agenda because they were kind of like anti-music.
Anti-music.
Well, I mean, they prided themselves on feedback and noise and being really challenging. So I think they would take that as a compliment. But that was great playing the Def Club. That was pretty killer. And now, I think the last couple times I've either played Great American or the Chapel, and both of those are awesome rooms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Chapel's great.
Yeah.
I did it right before the COVID lockdown, and, it was just a killer room,
Mm-hmm.
just perfect. And, right there in the Mission, just perfect for, rock and roll. It feels like old school San Francisco. Like old school San Francisco had great venues like the Night Break and the I-Beam and the Stone and all those. It's just, tons of venues and tons of bands, and it's funny to think about the whole punk rock scene, how every city kind of had some great bands, we had the Dead Kennedys and all that, and it's just magic. Now it just seems like a one scene every 10 years in a city, and it's 3 bands. They call it a scene.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do?
we might have aged out of understanding where the scenes are, but that's okay. That's up to the kids.
I definitely hustle and listen to new music all the time. I find new bands and get them on the show. And there's so much great stuff out there right now for sure. Let's talk about the tour. So you're going to go out and you're going to be playing this record and any other songs in the set list, or is it just strictly going to be like this record, this vibe?
Oh, it's this vibe, but there's only 13 songs. We have to play more than 13 songs.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, you never know.
No, that would suck. That would be very selfish, and it would suck if you just. I've seen that a few times where people just play new material, and it's like, I don't know any of this shit. Give me something I can hold on to. Yeah, we play X songs and other solo stuff and some covers and things like that. But it all, we've figured out what fits and what doesn't with this, stripped down. But we're really conscious of, like in the recording and live, really conscious of space. And it's another understanding of less is more, where you're going along and you understand that as a concept and you may apply it, but then suddenly you understand it on a different level. And that's great to have that sort of revelation, to see it from a different perspective, to see it as a deeper, I'm not a great guitar player. I can play the song, do a couple little things, but Conrad and Kevin or, anybody else who's playing with it, they get to step out and play more melody, and if they do something, then it has meaning because there's not a keyboard and a lead guitar player, just blanketing the thing with a bunch of fucking licks that sometimes are totally meaningless, It's just some great players, it's meaningful. And then there's a lot of players that they just kind of filling up space. And I'm more interested in just hearing a song, letting it breathe. Maybe that's being selfish. I don't know. But, my greatest wish on this record is that people get transported to a different place, get to walk around in there a little bit, get to see it and smell it, and then they can come back and resume their previously programmed life.
Well, it'll definitely be cool to hear some of the X songs too, kind of stripped down 3-piece. Different format.
Well, I've done that. I mean, we did that with the Knitters. I've done that with solo gigs forever because, I can get away with it. It still sounds, you kind of break. If you have a good song, I think if you reinterpret it, you break it down to its, most basic thing, it'll still say something,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's other songs, that are just their recorded version. You just can't touch it because it's so good. It's so iconic. So you got to leave those alone.
At what point do you get out of LA? Was it like I'm tired of it here split, or what happened?
I, paid rent and, had a pretty decent life and ended up in Highland Park and going to have a baby with my wife at the time. And then I worked in, that was probably 87, 88. So X had put out Ain't Love Grand, which was the last record we did with Billy. And we're still, had a little money in the bank, but it's kind of hand to mouth, And then I did 2 movies back to back. I did Great Balls of Fire and Roadhouse, and I could buy a house.
Wow. Wow.
But I didn't, but we've been going out like every night for years and years. And it's like, I'm a little tired of this. So, we moved up to the Grapevine, spent 20 years up there.
Whoa, you're at the top of the Grapevine?
Yeah, Fraser Park, outside of Fraser Park.
Wow.
Yep.
That's an interesting area, right? It's just like you're in the mountains, but you could be in LA in 45 minutes.
More like 75 minutes, but yeah, it's a beautiful area up there. It's harsh. I mean, the weather is nothing to fool with. You get snow, you get below 0 temperatures. There's, bears and rattlesnakes and shit like that. It's a lot like northern Arizona or New Mexico, kind of similar, high altitude, very dry, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I used to ride my motorcycle through there every Sunday, just take a ride out through there. They had some weird place up there you could eat burgers. Can't remember what it was called. Like kind of like an A-frame looking wood cabin burger joint.
Big John. It was a diner called Big John's in Fraser Park. I
guess that was it. I'd go up there and eat a burger. And there was actually some weird fucking small community that had like maybe 30 people living in it and had a bar and a post office. And it just looked like kind of like people hiding away like ex-Vietnam vets and stuff in there. You ever go there?
I think that was probably Lebec.
Man.
It was right off the highway.
It was like, I guess you're on the main highway and then you turn into this area and there's like, it was like, what is this? It's just a little bar and a post office and like maybe 8 homes. It was bizarre. Huh. I wish I could remember the name, but it looks like somewhere you'd film a movie for sure.
Yeah, it's a trip up there.
Off the grid people,
Oh yeah. Plenty of that.
So you got the money and then you just split. And then from Fraser Park, you end up out in Austin?
No, I moved to Bakersfield for a little while and then ended up in the Bay Area for about 7 years. And then from the Bay Area, moved to Austin. We moved here in 2017.
Oh, right before it got crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy.
The house, the home, I'm not sure that we'd be able to buy the same house that we're living in, but so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, right. You think that's your last stop? Austin, going to be it?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to move out in the country from, near here. Hill country is very appealing to me.
I think as I get older, I'm always like, oh yeah, we'll try some other place like Portland, or Joshua Tree, shit like that,
Yeah. I've got a few friends that live in Joshua Tree, and it's it's also getting kind of overrun with.
I call them COVID explorers.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Texas is all right. I mean, it's got some really shitty politicians, and it's got some crazy people like Alex Jones, and but I think you got to find a way of dealing with that. You got to find a way of somehow fighting the good fight, or accepting the fact that people have different opinions and trying to change it a little bit if you can, or fight the good fight. You know, when I lived up in the Bay Area, it was a little like in one place it was kind of a monoculture. It was all very enlightened and all hip, and it was mostly white people that had money, and it was it was all right. It was beautiful, but it was a little weird because it was like everybody was a little bit the same.
Yeah, sounds like Fairfax.
That's exactly where we lived.
Wow,
Yep.
That's so funny, dude.
Luckily, we didn't live in Mill Valley. That would have been horrible. But
woo, I
think we got out of then we moved over to Richmond, which was awesome, but it was just cold all the time.
Yeah, I lived over there too by the Hilltop Mall.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
We lived right on the edge of Richmond and Albany.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or El Cerrito.
Next stop, Pinole.
Yes. Yeah, I was out there.
Yeah.
We go to a farmer's market out in Pinole. That was pretty awesome.
Pinole's a trip because they actually have some kind of accent there. Like the people there, they're, oh, hell, what are you doing? They're like, what?
Really?
I've noticed it. The people that live there, like my bass player was from Pinole, and these guys would have this crazy drawl, like Southern drawl thing. Like, oh, hell no. It was like, I don't know what it was.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I always saw it seemed like there was a really healthy Asian community up there, which seemed to be multi-generational. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. That is cool. Let me ask you something. I was dug down the rabbit hole a couple nights ago, and I saw you guys when you played David Letterman 1983. That is wild. Now was that the original Letterman show, like early on, the late night one?
Yeah.
God, it was so cool.
It was pretty fun. We were supposed to do 2 songs, and we did Breathless. And then we were going to do Hot House to, have a different song that maybe I was singing more lead on. But Exene was a little nervous about singing that because sometimes she didn't like the way she sang it. But we rehearsed it for the camera. And then when it came time to do the song, and they timed out the whole show with the amount of time that it took to do that song. And when it came time to do the second song, we just did another song. It didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And they were just completely freaking out. And from then on, they had Paul Schaefer playing with the band. They'd have like the singer and the guitar player of the band.
Oh, it's from that?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Because I always wondered like that they would have a band on, it'd be the band and the 2 dudes. Like, you're like, what is this?
Yeah, so that they knew they would do the right song.
Oh my God, that is insane.
I'm not 100% sure of that. But that's the way I remember it.
Right. I mean, that had to be cool as shit to be, on Letterman. If you look back on it,
Yeah, we didn't know. I mean, we didn't know that was like a huge no. Yeah. We didn't, we were just like doing our thing, and they'll figure it out. God. Yeah.
I love it. Now, how many stops is the tour? How many cities?
Oh, it's about 16 shows or 14. So we're starting outside of DC, and then doing Philly and New York and Boston and Woodstock, and then going over to the Midwest. We're playing Cleveland and Dayton, Ohio, and Bloomington, Indiana, and Chicago. So I think it's probably 10 shows, something like that. And then we're going to do another run on the West Coast in October.
Oh, that's cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
And then X got some summer dates with who's X touring with?
we're doing about 5 weeks with the Psych Furs.
Oh, wow.
And we played with them maybe 10 shows before, and it's a great combination. You know, we're both have this dark underneath everything, and Richard Butler is a incredible frontman, and the band is just awesome. Got another friend, Rich Good, who's playing guitar for them, and they also put out a record somewhat unexpectedly in 2020, which is a fantastic record. So both of us will be playing new stuff with old stuff.
That's great. That's great.
Highly recommend that Psych Furs record. It's called Made of Rain. So any of your listeners who are Psych Fur curious should check it out.
Yeah, I'll dig into that big time. I mean, I always think it's interesting. It's cool when a band puts out a record late in their career and it's absolutely incredible. Like one of those, you're like, wow, you know what I mean?
You got to cross your fingers and hope that it works.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when it happens because you're like, hey, these guys are like 40 years in and they just put out a masterpiece.
Yeah, I know.
Well, all right, man. Well, it was great to talk to you, and congrats on the record, and looking forward to the tour. Maybe I'll be able to catch it if I'm not working that night in LA. Where are you at in LA?
I'm not sure. I think we might do McCabe's just because it's, that's a folk historical venue. And then we're looking for a place on the east side, Echo Park, the Echo Lounge, or maybe Zebulon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That'll be cool, man. There's a great venue downtown too. Shit, I forget what it's called, like the National or something. It's really cool.
How big is it?
It's small, man, and it's cool. They got like a outside area where they're the bar is it's a Airstream. It's really cool. So they got this cool outdoor area, and then they got this really, I think it holds about 200, seated, and really, really cool venue, man.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you can think of it, email.
I will.
Melissa or Michelle.
Yeah, I have the name of it in my phone, and I'll send it over to them. Absolutely, because it's a great venue.
That sounds good. That's how it happens, right?
Yeah, that is how it happens. I'll be out in Austin there July 9th if you're around. You want to come down and see some comedy?
I would love to, but we're going to be off with the Psychedelic Furs somewhere in Canada.
There you go. You are you a comedy guy? You like comedy?
Oh yeah, I went to see one downtown on 6th Street. It was a woman who's the secretary in that show Hacks. Oh God, I can't remember her name. You know the TV show I'm talking about? Hacks?
I know the show, but I haven't seen it. But I know Hacks. Yeah.
Oh, it is amazing. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Yes, you should see it.
I will actually.
Really inventive, really natural, and pretty fucked up.
Let's see. Let me see who that is, because it's
she's young. She's young, and her character is the secretary to the main agent.
Was it Hannah?
What's her last name?
Einenbinder?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she is funnier than shit on the show, and a lot of her comedy was based on making people feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
but not in a mean way.
Right.
It was awesome.
You know who her mom is?
Who's that?
Lorraine Newman from SNL.
Well, goddamn.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit. She got the funny gene.
Yeah. Did you guys play SNL?
No, never did.
Damn, Fear did. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That pissed people off.
Holy shit! Right? Belushi gets them on. Oh my God.
Crazy. It's amazing what cocaine would do back in the old days.
Oh, I know, right? Cocaine. Fucking cocaine is everywhere right now. It's nuts, man.
Really?
Well, yeah, they're crazy, man. Just snorting it with fentanyl and dying, man. I don't get it. Yeah.
That's stupid.
It really is stupid.
I hope they stop sooner than later.
I heard that.
I mean?
Who wants to gamble on that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't. But Dean, it was a guess. So hopefully I'll see you.
Yep.
And yeah, continued good luck and all that shit.
Yeah, man. And congrats on the record and great music
Thank you.
all your life you've been putting out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
I'll see you, man.